No one is perfect, even celebrities, despite what some die-hard fans will say. Some celebrities manage to destroy their careers in Hollywood, and I have a part 2 list of them today on Beyond the Screen. Thanks for coming back. I am Joss Bedard. Make sure you leave a like on this video before we get into it, and also subscribe to keep hanging out with us. Kicking off this countdown at number 10 is Isaiah Washington. He won over millions of hearts with his character on Grey's Anatomy, but their opinion of him changed back in 2007 when he made some homophobic comments at the Golden Globe Awards. It was those comments that pushed his career over the edge because not long before that, he was exposed for insulting his co-star TR Knight with homophobic language as well. He did apologize for both incidents and tried to make things better by going to executive counseling, but then Grey's made the decision that they would not be renewing their contract with him. Ever since then, he's been blacklisted in Hollywood, and he said he could just no longer afford an agent or a publicist and was not able to sustain himself in the industry. He's still talking about it too, all these years later. In 2020, he tweeted, "I've learned that all money ain't good money, and no amount of money can replace your dignity and integrity. Some call it living by your principles." He also tweeted that he stands by the fact that everyone is entitled to their freedom of speech, even if it's homophobic, I guess. Up next, number 9, we have Vince Vaughn. Have you ever wondered what happened to the actor who was once popping up in almost every romantic comedy? Rumors have gone around for years about why he stopped showing up on our big screens, but in 2015, he talked about it and said everything changed once he changed his management team. He talked with British GQ and said that his career flopped when he changed his team back in 2008. Turns out the actor fired his agency at the time and his longtime manager. It seems like that was a mistake. He said, "I liked the new guys, they had some decent ideas, but I didn't have the same sort of rapport as I'd had with my previous team. This tweak can affect your output, especially if you're not communicating brilliantly." So he didn't have some big scandal that ruined his career. He made the decision himself to fire his team, and that just did not work out in his favor. However, in 2020, he starred in the horror comedy Freaky. I don't know if you saw it, but media outlets made articles entitled it saying that fans should not call this a comeback, which is not good. But here's hoping. I really liked him. Sliding into number 8 is Lindsay Lohan. Fans were devastated when her career started taking a turn for the worse. She was once one of the most popular actresses in Hollywood, but then she started getting in trouble with the law. Throughout the years, she's been arrested for DUIs, charged with substance use and possession, and was even arrested after violating her probation from some previous charges. In 2010, I don't think we can ever forget when she was sentenced to 90 days in jail for failing to attend her court-ordered weekly alcohol education classes. Years down the road, she still faced other charges after causing altercations in bars. In 2012, she allegedly punched a woman in the face outside of Club Avenue in Manhattan. She has a whole list of allegations and charges that have made her completely blacklisted in Hollywood. But there might be some hope for fans because it was just announced a few months ago that she will be starring in a Netflix Christmas romantic comedy movie coming out later this year. Could it be her comeback? I'm kind of hoping it is. I loved her. In spot number 7, we have CeeLo Green. The singer was once at the peak of his career, having successful music and being a judge on The Voice. But he lost all parts of his career when he was accused of sexual back in 2012. Allegations surfaced from a woman who claimed he attacked her while they partied together one night. 2 years after the allegations first came out, he received probation and community service after pleading no contest to a lesser charge of giving the victim a substance. I can't say what it is. A substance, we'll leave it at that. Just 2 days after the case closed on August 31st, 2014, he went on Twitter to talk about it, but didn't offer an apology or an explanation, which most people expected from him. Instead, he posted some very insensitive tweets completely discrediting the woman's claims. He said, "If someone is passed out, they're not even with you consciously, so with implies consent." If the allegations did not ruin his reputation and career, the tweets sure did. TBS immediately canceled his show called The Good Life, and he lost his headlining gig that was scheduled in New Orleans. Moving on to number 6 is Katherine Heigl. In the 2000s, she was taking the lead in practically every rom-com like Knocked Up, The Ugly Truth, 27 Dresses. But even outside of her movies, she also had a successful career for her role on Grey's Anatomy. But she then ended up on Hollywood's most hated list after making comments about some of her movies. She spoke very negatively about Knocked Up and said that it painted females in a very negative light and called it humorless and uptight. And then she went on to diss her time on Grey's Anatomy to a point where she even pulled herself from her Emmy nomination for her performance on the show. So it's no surprise that directors probably don't want to cast her in any upcoming projects. It also didn't help that Forbes reported her as Hollywood's most overpaid actress. In the end, her character was written off of Grey's Anatomy and she just stopped getting cast in big movie roles. She did an interview in January of 2021 and said that she has stopped apologizing for her past and that she is happier than ever. She said, I quote, "What is your definition of difficult? Somebody with an opinion that you don't like? Now I'm 42 and that stuff pisses me off." Halfway through the list, number 5 is Monique. She was on top of the world in her career back in 2009 when she was earning a ton of critical praise for her role in Precious. Things were going so well that she even won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. But after winning the Oscar, things took a quick turn for the worse and she ended up getting completely blacklisted. Turns out the issue started when she refused to campaign for her movie without receiving additional pay. This caused a lot of people in the industry to turn against her because they did not agree with her decision. Things got worse in 2018 when she started publicly asking people to boycott Netflix and claimed that they lowballed her pay because of her gender and race. She revealed that they offered her $500,000 for her own comedy special, but pointed out that Amy Schumer and other male comedians like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock received millions for theirs. Since then, she has been put on the blacklist in all categories. Comedy, movies. Rolling at spot number 4 is Thora Birch. She was one of Hollywood's most credible young actors, but then disappeared and no one really knew why or what exactly happened. Most of us still watch her every Halloween in the movie Hocus Pocus, in case you're wondering who she is. Her career as a child transitioned into something bigger when she received amazing reviews for her performance in the film American Beauty, and then also received a Golden Globe nomination for her role in Ghost World. But she eventually got blacklisted for allegedly having bad behavior. That's what would have me on a blacklist. My attitude. During an interview, she was asked about her career ending and she said, "I pissed a lot of people off over a long period of time and they found a way to upset me, hoping that upset would bring a change in my behavior." But it didn't. It also didn't help that her father made news headlines, who was also her manager, for physically threatening one of her co-stars. It was that incident that had her fired from Dracula, the off-Broadway revival. So she really didn't stand a chance in theater or film. In our third spot is Randy Quaid. He was an Academy Award nominee before he disappeared from the limelight without an explanation. But fans later got an explanation because he got in trouble with the law and made headlines for it. In 2010, articles revealed that he and his wife Evie Quaid fled to Canada to try to make a deal with a group called Hollywood Star Whackers, who allegedly were out to take their life. But on their escape to Canada, they got involved in some illegal activities. They used fake credit cards to pay for hotel bills and also spent some time living in one of their former homes that they no longer owned or had rights to. According to CNN, they were granted permission to stay in Canada in 2011. His wife was able to get her Canadian citizenship because her dad was born in Canada, but Randy's request was denied in 2013. The actor was finally detained by Canadian immigration officials in October 2015 and was set to be deported back to the US later that month. However, he and his wife were actually arrested because they were trying to sneak back into the US through Vermont. It sounds like a movie plot. It should be. Taking over our number 2 spot is Stacey Dash. She first rose to fame for her role in Clueless and then went on to have a successful career on the Fox News show Outnumbered. But then her political views cost her her entire career. Back in 2008, she openly voted for Barack Obama for president, but then made a big shift in her views and opinion somehow between the years 2008 to 2012. Which is okay because everyone has the right to their own political views, but she just went a little too far when she started calling for there to be an end on Black History Month. People were outraged because this comment was just one of many offensive comments that she made. Later on in 2018, she was in support of Donald Trump and made comments online that she was also in support of him building a wall between the border. A lot of her comments came across very racist and offensive to others. That is not very surprising, and that is when she lost her whole career. But just a few months ago, in March 2021, she says that she has changed her perspective and also apologized for her past remarks and behavior. So maybe there's a chance she will be forgiven. Sliding into our number 1 spot is Shia LaBeouf. For many years now, fans have seen him go through rough patches in his career while struggling with a substance and alcohol addiction. But it seemed like things were getting better after he apologized for past actions and said that he got sober. But then, at the end of 2020, he was facing serious allegations when his ex-girlfriend FKA Twigs sued him and accused him of sexual infliction of emotional distress. In the lawsuit, it wrote, "Shia LaBeouf hurts women, he uses them, he is dangerous." Shia has responded to the claims since then and admitted that he has been that way towards himself and others in the past, and that even his addiction is not an excuse for his bad behavior. But as for specifics with her claims, he says they are not true. The whole lawsuit released some very horrific and detailed allegations, and a lot of people think this will be the end to his career for good. Even other celebrities came out and spoke against him. Sia, who worked with him before and actually had a friendship with him, came forward and said he was also emotionally harmful towards her and believes that he is very sick. Alright guys, that is our part 2 list, but before I get out of here, I'm going to respond to some comments. Sunny Vibes says, "OMG Joss, I adore you, but you look like you cannot be more than 27. Did you watch Tila Tequila at like 6? LOL, seriously, if you're older than 27, I will eat my words, and if you are older than that, then girl, you look amazing." Well, thanks, but I actually turn 29 soon, so you're gonna have to eat your words. I'm sorry. There's a fly. Oh, I'm also wet in my mouth. Next up, okay. Sophie George says, "Tan lines." Yes, I warned you guys. I warned you in that video that my tan lines were very prominent. But at least you know I don't tan naked. Alright guys, I'm getting out of here. I was your host for this one, Joss Bedard. I will see you in another one. Bye. Thanks for coming back, or coming here for the thanks for coming, I should say, and then coming back. That makes no sense. Oh, my tummy's making noises. But who knows? Probably not. Christmas movies on Netflix I feel like never really take off too much, but we'll see. I'll watch it. I have to fix my hair, it's falling out. I can feel it. What an idiot. Moving on to number 6 is Katherine Heigl. I always say her name wrong. Heigl? No, Heigl. I said, right when I said it, I'm like, no. Heigl. Anyways. I won't rant about that. I could, I really could.